Biden Harris administration is claiming that the requirement that you show ID, prove who you are, in voting for the President of the United States and mostly the President of the United States, is voter suppression. Okay. And it affects primarily black and brown people, not Asians, not Native Americans, and not white people for sure. Just black and brown people. Excuse me, are you a black or a brown person? Say Negroid and Hispanic, Latino, you two groups of people, race. Biden and Harris are telling you people that white people are supreme racial beings because white people, above all other people, Asians, Native Americans, know how to get ID. But for some reason, black people and brown people don't. Okay? So they're telling you that white people are supreme. We're supreme. And you are not. You're too fucking stupid to know how to get ID. You're too fucking stupid to know how to vote, or to go to the polls, or to, But white people can do it. Just some reason black people and brown people can't. I don't think so. I think it's more like, if you're too fucking stupid that you can't get ID, you don't need to fucking vote, okay? Now, let's apply this thing called, logic. If requiring ID to vote for the President of the United States, the most powerful man on the planet, is voter suppression, then let me ask you this. We got a motor vehicle department, right? Is required ID to get a license to drive on the highways and byways in an automobile, motor vehicle access suppression? Is requiring ID to rent an apartment as a part of a contract, housing suppression for black and brown people, more so. Okay, now, this being the case, because black and brown people evidently are too stupid to know how to get fucking ID and show up at a freaking poll that everybody else shows up. That white people show up to. White people do it. I don't know. Then we should change the rules or make the rules. I'm surprised they didn't require it to begin with, but change the rules to accommodate stupid black people and stupid brown people and say, well, we don't need ID to drive cars. We don't need ID to vote for the president. We don't need ID to buy cars. We don't need ID to go rent apartments either. We don't need ID, period. What the fuck do we need ID for? Whatever we need ID for is suppression. We need ID to buy alcohol. If require an ID to buy alcohol is, well, alcohol suppression, then I guess that's what you got. Cigarettes, same thing. We don't need ID for cigarettes. We don't need ID for alcohol. We don't need ID for rent. We don't need job. You need ID for job? Well, then that's job suppression. Hey, I got an idea. Let's not have ID for tax. There we go. Fuck off, okay? Hey, you don't need ID for tax purposes. That means they can't tax your ass. You see where this logic goes? Especially, for some reason, black and brown people are especially. Why? You know? So Biden and Harris tell you one thing, that white people are supreme. We know how to get ID and we know how to vote. Okay? Black and brown people seem to have trouble with it for some reason. So we have to change the rules to accommodate black and brown people because they're too stupid to go get ID or know how to vote. Okay? We don't need ID for shit. No, they want this, but they want that, they want both, you know, and what you're doing is you're holding two opposing viewpoints to be true and equal at the same time. And that puts you in this place called insanity.